It has been a very tiring end of the year, but I'm not complaining. I enjoyed every minute of it. I feel like half the time I have not even known what was going on around me. It was so fast, so many things. We did so many fun activities with the kids. I think they really enjoyed everything. Once we got through testing, they kept talking about how much fun it was. It's going to be a busy and fun day in 4th grade today. The last week of school, we took our students on a field trip to Tryon Palace. It is an amazing place. There are so many historical things that are tied to this location, and the students really got to see in a hands-on way some of the things that we've been learning earlier this year. Then we came back and it was time to clean up the classroom. Nice, nice. No, you have to go in here only in this room. Here's some footage of them doing the dirtiest Clorox wipe contest. They really enjoyed this, and I wish I would have tried it earlier in the year. Nothing like tug of war in the rain. We got some die-hard kids here. Bye! Love you guys!
No, she's waiting on the driver to get in place. It can't be opening kids on it without an adult in the seat.
Good morning. Today is Sunday, May the 26th, 2024, and school is out for the summer. Woohoo! It has been a whirlwind of the last 2 weeks, and I got to enjoy that with them, which was really nice since I'm leaving at the end of the school year. I have one more week of teacher work days, and like another day, I think, after that. And during that time, I'm going to be packing up my classroom, doing my end of the year like paperwork, and then I have to help some of my students who came super close to passing on their state test but just missed it by a few points. We're going to try to give them a retest and see if they can push themselves up a few points and make it. So those are the activities that I'm going to be working on. I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot because I worked on the Sprint to Summer course with Strategic Classroom and did a whole bunch of my end of the year prep already. So I think that I'm gonna be able to like knock everything out super fast. Usually I am like one of the last people getting done because one of the things about having fibromyalgia is that the busier life gets and the more extra things that are going on in my schedule, the more pain that I have, nerve pain, and that also creates a lot of fatigue. So in the last month of school, I am like chronically fatigued and in pain. Inflammation skyrockets in my body in that time. And so when I go home, I'm like icing everything. I'm like resting, and I just really can't do much of anything. I'm very stiff and sore. Well, I'm trying to do all these fun things, which is kind of rough, but I made it through. I made it through on lots of pain reliever and like stop pain gel, rubbing that into my joints. And I sound like way older than I actually am, but it's just part of the condition that I live with, and try my best to manage. Yesterday, all I did was like rest, literally. And I felt like I was just trying to get rid of all of the like swelling and everything that goes along with that whole process when my routine is out of whack and there's extra stress. So yeah, so I feel better today. I woke up feeling much more like normal today. I'm not out of the woods yet. I still have some aches I can feel, but we are opening up the pool, and hopefully by the end of today, it will be ready to be used. So I'm hoping to get into it this evening or tomorrow, and that always really, really helps. Last year we got it open a little bit earlier, and I was able to swim before the end of the school year, but no such thing. Actually, it might have been not earlier, but we ended the school year later last year. So I was able to swim, during those really stressful like weeks, coming home and taking a dip in the pool and taking all the weight off of my body. Being weightless in the pool really, really helps with that. So anyway, so now I have some coursework that I need to catch up on because my new classes for summer started, and I just literally have not had any time to work on them. So I'm going to be working on that today. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go into my classroom and start packing tomorrow or not. I don't think I'm going to need to. I think I might just be at home and do things around the house because all right, we have quite a few work days this year, more than I feel like we normally do. So I might as well do that stuff while I'm getting paid for it, since I'm already in a pretty good place. One thing I do want to do is take a look at the downstairs tomorrow, where I have all of my things stored for teaching that I brought home last year, and I never ended up bringing them into the school, and trying to get rid of as much of that stuff as possible because I only want to keep the bare minimum that I'm going to need for my third grade classroom next year. I don't want to bring anything like that's not, top notch, that's just dirty or old, seen better days, that kind of thing. I just want to keep my favorite things so that I'm not having too much to do when I get into my classroom. I don't know how much time I'm going to have. I know there's like 2 weeks before school starts or something like that I can be in there that are like optional work days, but I just don't know like what all I'm going to be facing as far as meetings and different things like that, because I'll be a new employee. So I may have to go through like an orientation with the beginning teachers and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that I'm like planned ahead. I want to get my back to school box ready so that my lessons are run and things like that for the new year. I can print off copies on my personal printer and stow those away so that that's done. And that will really like pay off at the beginning of next year. In the midst of all of this, we lost my grandmother on Saturday. She has been not doing her best for a while now. She has dementia, or had dementia at the end of her life, and she had like lucid moments up until the very end, but she was really struggling a lot with eating, taking her medicine. She would not understand that she wasn't strong enough to get out of her bed, so she got out of her bed and she fell like last week sometime. And after that, I guess she went downhill really fast. And so they put her on a bunch of medicine just to keep her comfortable. They took her off of her regular like medicine, like her blood pressure medicine and different things like that. And after that happened, she just, she got to a point where she couldn't swallow. And so my parents were with her. They were out there actually. A lot of the family was out there for my niece's wedding, which you may remember because Baxter had his seizure, our dog. We weren't able to go to Ohio for my niece's wedding, but a lot of the family members did go. And so they were able to go visit her and say their goodbyes. And my parents just stayed on later and were with her that morning before she passed. They'd actually just left, but I guess the hospice nurses said it's pretty common for people to hang on until their families leave after their visit before they pass away. Just kind of more of a private thing, and that they don't want to, distress the family by doing that in front of them. So she had just had a lot of visitors. She was able to talk to my uncle who lives in California, and he's on his way out there because he's in charge of all the arrangements. So we're going to do, I guess, like a family celebration of life later on. So they're going to just handle everything for now, and then do something small like graveside, and then we'll get the family together later this summer when everyone's able to plan. So I just feel like I've had an emotional roller coaster over the last few days because I'm leaving my students, I'm leaving my families, I'm leaving a district that I've worked in for 8 years. And I'm going to miss everyone, I'm attached to my colleagues. I'm attached to, the Madam Mesquite Way. It's a good school. It really is a good school where people say that they're family in a lot of schools, but in this school, you really are family. People really do accept you for who you are for the most part. All the people that stick around anyway. As we have new people coming and going, sometimes we get a little bit of that less inclusive attitude in people, but overall, I would say that the people that have been here, have been around, they're truly, sincerely good people to work with and care about you and accept you for all of your little idiosyncrasies. And we're a big bunch of people that just really love students and love each other, and it's going to be hard. So I was going through that. I also had an emotional experience at graduation because the students that I had, many of them, I had them for kindergarten and then again for 8th grade science. So I'd really gotten to follow these kids all the way through their school careers, and it was, it was a nice end to my time there, but also it was very emotional. So I just feel like I've had a lot of highs and lows over the last week, and it's just kind of emotionally exhausting. So I guess I was just recouping from that yesterday, and now today I feel like more of a human and gonna try to get a few things done so that I can start to get my house back together, my studies back together, all those things. A couple of, maybe a month ago, I posted a video. It was right around spring break when I was cleaning up my house for spring break. And someone that I know, but I'm not close with, commented, made some kind of post about how people are nasty and they can live in houses like that and this and that. And I was just it made me think about how people that aren't in education really don't get what it's like to be in education from spring break on. Thankfully, in my household, we are both teachers. My husband has always been extremely supportive of me and understood that the last month of school is just crazy. He has helped me clean up my room every year. He packs stuff in the car to take home. He does a lot of things for me. But, and that's been even since before he was a teacher. But now that he's a teacher, we both are right in the middle of it and experiencing it together. So I'm very lucky that way because I don't have to explain what I'm going through. He gets it. And since we're working at the same school, he sees it. He sees what I'm going through firsthand. But I just think it's one of those things, unless you are personally related to a teacher, you don't realize how completely exhausting the last month of school is and how many things are asked of teachers. this channel, like, I am not going to come on here and, you know, be fake. I'm going to show you guys, like, when I am getting behind on things and my house is a mess and I'm overwhelmed, I'm going to be that way for you. And when I am getting my life back together and I'm on top of things, I'm going to be that way for you. Like, I'm not, I guess, what you would think of as like your influencer type of person, because I'm not trying to get anyone to be like me. I'm just trying to be me. And I'm trying to let people know on here that it's okay. Like, teaching is a very intense profession, especially with the way that the world is right now and the expectations that are placed on teachers' shoulders. You know, we're always being asked for more than we can really effectively give. And, you know, we all went into the profession to help. And it's still something that I'm always, you know, keeping in mind, that the hard work that I do and the exhaustion is for people. But at the same time, there's a balance. And you can't be expected to be this like perfect person that holds it all together at home, holds it all together at school. Like, you have to make choices. So during this last month of school, like, you know, there were days when I came home and I sat down on the couch to take a break with every intention of getting up and doing things, and I just fell asleep and went to bed. And that's not because I'm a lazy person. That's because I'm an exhausted person. I would challenge anyone who has anything negative to say about anything they see in my house on this channel to try to do everything that I've done in the last month and then see how they feel when they get home. This is not the same as working a job where you're like waiting tables or, you know, cleaning, running around, doing, you know, whatever type of job that you do while you're there. Because the thing about teaching is that you're never really done with it, because not only can it be physically demanding, but it's also mentally and emotionally demanding. And so when you get home, you're off, but you're not like truly totally off, because you're thinking about your students. You're planning for the next thing that you have to do. You're keeping a running checklist in your mind of like, what are the things, especially the last week of school. I feel like I was at the store all the time because I was always needing to pick something up. Like, okay, one night I go to the store and I'm buying things for the field trip. Another night I go to the store and I'm buying things for the end of the year party. Another night I'm buying things for teacher gifts. Another night I'm buying things for field day. Like, it's never ending. You're constantly running around doing errands and setting things up and tearing things down and like making a mess and cleaning it up and making a mess and cleaning it up. It's just like the way it is. It's insane. Then you go home and you're like thinking about your students and, you know, what they need and what you're going to do next. So yeah, I just want to say to anyone that would have anything negative to say about teachers, try to do it, you know, by all means, go get your degree. And I'm not talking about subbing, guys. Like, go into a classroom and actually be responsible for 20 plus little lives and all the things that go along with that, and do all of the paperwork that's required of you, all of the meetings that are required of you, and then come home and try to do what you do now after your 9-to-5 job. I challenge you. And, you know, I just want to address that because this is supposed to be a safe space for teachers and busy moms who are working. And I wasn't going to let that one go and not say anything, because it's ridiculous to think that teachers would be able to do it all and just keep going like the Energizer Bunny. Like, we have limits. We are real human beings with real limits. I think I have been more tired this year than I have ever been at the end of the year. And I'm hearing that from lots of teachers, and I'm not really sure if it's just a change in the way that the student behavior is or what. I had some like weird things that happened at the end of the year with my students behavior wise, but overall they weren't terrible, but the energy level was just so intense. And we were trying to do so many things with them to have a good time at the end of the year. My school building, as well as myself personally. And it was just very, very draining. And my husband and I both, we came home at the end of the day, and half the time we were just like, let's have a bag of chips and pass out on the couch, because that's the energy level we even like made a plan that we weren't going to go out to eat because we're trying to save for a house, right? And a few weeks ago, I just looked at him and I just said, can we just forget about that until school's out? Because like we just didn't have the energy to cook like half of the time. I mean, he made some things for me. Occasionally I would like make a snack for us or something, like, but we went out to eat so much because it was just all that we could do, you know, just to get some healthy food in our bodies, was to go sit in front of someone else and have them make it for us. Is he in here? That he made it back up. I loved all the time with my students, and yes, I'm glad that it's done, but at the same time, like, you know, there's always that feeling at the end of the year, like, you know, now you don't get to see your class every day. You don't get to get up with them in the mornings and say hello when they walk in the door, and you don't get the hugs all summer. And, you know, I gave him one big last hug the last day of school because they all know that I'm going to be a principal intern next year. And, you know, I've been talking with them about it and been like open with them about it for the last few months, just so they wouldn't be surprised that I would not be on campus next year. But yeah, I'm going to miss them this summer, and hopefully I'll see a few of them around town because we're not moving just yet. So a little update on that. I don't know that I actually officially said the full information, but you can go and watch my video about like how I ended up deciding to move to another school district for next year. I go into more detail there about that, but my official position, unless it changes, because things can always change over the summertime depending on who they hire. Right now, I am a third grade teacher / principal intern for Hertford Grammar School, and that is in Perquimans County, North Carolina. So I'm going to be closer to the Virginia border, which is nice because that puts me closer to my daughter, my oldest daughter, and our 2 grandsons. And I'm kind of like halfway in between our 2 oldest daughters. I'm also closer to the airport, so it will be easier for us to get to an airport when we want to fly out and visit Ainsley. So I feel like eventually we're going to be moving that way, but we looked over the last few months and all of the rentals that are available are in the 2,000 range. Like the rental houses that would be okay for us having a dog of our size that would have enough yard, they're like $2,300 a month. Our current rent is like $825 a month. So trying to save for a house, logistically speaking, it is cheaper for us to drive and keep putting money away and pay the gas than it is for us to try to rent out there. Now, we do have some friends that have friends in the area and they are searching for us. So if they find something that's like in the 1,000 range, then we would consider moving and renting. But ideally, we would just buy a house and move one more time and be done. I am so tired of moving. We have moved so many different times in our lifetime, and I would really only love to do it one more time. Not that I would love to do it at all, but to buy a house, we're going to have to. So I know I'm going to move at least one more time. But I love this house that we're in right now. And the drive is not terrible. It is not a super busy commute. Like, I don't feel like it's going to be a difficult commute. It's going to be a pleasant commute. Unless maybe there's bad weather and I have to go over to the bridge. That could be like a little dicey, but I've done it before. And, you know, if I need to do it, I'll do it again. And we did it for a year, a little bit more than a year. And we lived in Manio. So it's something that I can do if I have to. Joe right now is staying where he's at, but he also has opportunities potentially that could shift over the summertime. So he could end up in the same district. We will see. But he loves where he is at. He doesn't feel the need to move. If he doesn't get hired, we're not pressing for him to try to get something. We're just going to like let it happen naturally. And if it doesn't happen naturally this year, then we'll just live in this house. He'll go one way and I'll go the other way. So I am going to need to buy a new car this next year because ours has a lot of miles on it, like 310,000 miles on it. That Malibu has definitely lasted us. So that's one thing that we're going to have to do so that I can drive back and forth that much every day. But that's the plan right now. And then I'm just going to have to I'll just probably not be home a lot over the next year. I'm going to be there, you know, making sure that I'm spending time in the community. I want to be seen out and about in the community. I want to be part of any events that are going on. And I want people to start seeing my face and knowing my name and knowing that we are moving that way because it's a small community just like this one. And that's important. You know, people want to know that you're invested in their community and that you're not planning to go anywhere, that you want to be part of their group of people, you know, and that you are going to be aware of the things that are particular to their area. So I'm excited because I'm going to be closer to places where I can work out at the end of the school day. That's been an issue for me because I feel like if I could like get in the pool, my pain would be less from fibromyalgia. So I'm hoping to be able to go like to the Y after school and get a workout in. And that way I will feel better. And that will also help me balance all of the things that I'm trying to do with the driving and extra after school activities, things like that. So that's the update. That's where we're at right now. I'm just working on packing up my room, getting all of the end of the year checklists done and returning all the things that I have to return as part of my leaving the district. How you know that your hubby loves you?
Okay, what are we gonna do right now? What are we doing?
We're gonna plant little flower pots. It's over there by the stairs. Can you bring it over here for me, please?
Yeah. But I have a leaf in my hand.
Bring me 2 tall plants. Over there. So give me 2 of the taller ones. Yeah, that's a tall plant.
It's very good. Oh, this one too.
Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
I think we need to put the tomatoes more on the edge. You know why? Because we're going to put something right here for them to grow up because they grow tall. The window. Those little packets that have veggies on it. Go bring me those little packets.
Oh,
back the car up.
Okay. Thanks for your help.
Oh yeah. Every time we go out, we end up getting home at 10 o'clock at night, and then
I know.
work's ready the next morning.